I did that a little too fast. I'm so bad with the buttons. Rachel's the one that's good with the buttons. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Here we are. Monday again. I literally just got off a plane. What time is it? 1:12. 2 hours ago. I got home. And it's been whirlwind crazy since I got home. But here we are. And I have a super cool guest on today. I asked you guys who you wanted me to have on the show, and this was one of your requests. And and Bougie's back. But Bougie, you echo a lot in this room. So can you keep it down? Yeah. I still have no pistachios in hand to bribe him to be quiet. So anyway, without further ado, I am going to bring on my friend and fellow reseller, Casey Parris, also known as the Rockstar Flipper. He has a YouTube channel. He teaches you guys about eBay and other ways to sell as well. And Casey has some pretty unique ways to sell also. Now, the title of the show today was, what do you do when eBay is not working anymore? So we're going to talk about how do you diversify and bring income in from other channels as well as eBay. So welcome, Casey.
Hi, what's going on, Danny?
Sorry, you got to compete with a squawking bird.
I will let that one go all day. I love it. So I love the background, just hanging out over your shoulder, literally hanging out over your shoulder.
Yeah, he'd rather be on my shoulder, but.
And hello, everyone in the chat. I see all of the comments and the messages. There's almost 240 of you, so it's going pretty quick. I see everybody though. Hello.
So, eBay's gone through let me first ask, how long have you been selling on eBay?
The summer of 2000, late 2007 into 2008 was when I first started listing items. So is that 14 years, 15?
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So you've seen some changes.
Oh yeah. My first items shipped, we got paid with the money order in the mail.
Yeah. Okay. So that was still going on. And then, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Cause I started in 98 and that was like checks in the mail,
Yep, pretty much.
And then we bumped it to money orders and then it was postal money orders. Yep. And then PayPal came around.
Yep. That was a few years of doing that before PayPal. Yep.
Yeah. But eBay was pretty much the only game in town back then.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon has been around that long, but they didn't allow third-party sellers at that time.
They did, but it was only books.
Yeah, it was just books. Yeah, just the books.
I was one of their first, third-party sellers, but they were just focused on books.
Yeah, it was. They were originally just all books, and eventually they got into like CDs and vinyl and that sort of stuff. None of which I've ever really sold anyway, so I couldn't have been on. And of course, there was no Poshmark or Mercari or any of these.
No.
Facebook Marketplace didn't exist then. We had Craigslist.
Craigslist and what's the other one? OfferUp.
We had one called Kijiji that was like Canadian based, but they had
wasn't that eBay's?
eBay bought that at some point. Yeah, originally it was Canadian based, and they opened it to America, and it actually got pretty decent sized. I bought quite a few things off of it to flip, but then eBay did buy it, and then they closed it.
Yeah, the name just didn't.
No, not at all. So so eBay was pretty much the only game in town.
Yeah, and it did really well for a lot of people. But as in anything, change happens, and there's a lot of competition now. I mean, reselling is huge. I suspect that part of the reason there's such a shortage in the job market out there is everybody's figured out I can work for myself. I can just sell stuff and make money or drive an Uber or deliver food or do something in the gig economy where they don't have to go to work for the man.
I mean, everyone's got this in their pocket, and this is so powerful with the number of apps we have now. I mean, List Perfectly goes out to, 12, 13 platforms. All the cross listers go out to dozens of platforms. There's platforms I've never even heard of every day. Yeah. People ask about in groups. There's, doing it on your own. People have their own Shopify stores, or they have their own website, and now everyone, we were just talking about it before we came on live, that everyone is hopping on Whatnot and doing live auctions. People were doing auctions before that. You as well, of course, on YouTube, or people did Instagram live.
I started doing them on Facebook. I did Facebook live auctions. And then I saw I think it was Misty, Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter, really got the live sale thing going on YouTube. And I'm like, I'll try that. I'll try that. And it went quite well.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
you guys are killing it. The few that I watched yours, and just because he has such a unique set of items, I watched Wade all the time. Like, Wade's my buddy, and Wade just had a lot of cool stuff. And
because
like,
you never know what he's going to have because it all comes out of storage locker.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, I would watch that, and I would call me what you want, Wade. If you see this, fine. But I would sit there and scribble down all the sale prices. And it'd be like an hour show, and it'd be like $3,000. And I know Wade's bigger, but even small people I watched doing like $1,000 in an hour. And I would be like, man, imagine what it took for them to do that in an eBay sale, like listing, photographing, waiting for the item to sell, trying, you know, going through days and days of sales. And so I'm like, yeah, these live shows are really popping off. And then Whatnot opened up, and the floodgates just went.
Yeah. And we're going to talk a little more about Whatnot because you're just getting going on Whatnot.
Yep, indeed.
And how many different channels are you selling on now?
So eBay's still my, you know, biggest actual e-commerce platform. I sell a little bit on Amazon. They've gated a ton of my stuff. Recently, Amazon's gone hardcore against electronic sellers, and I sold like remotes and video games. It's gotten really hard on Amazon. Like, wow. I love their process and their ease of use, but just their restrictive nature is just way too much for me to stomach sometimes. So I've backed out of that quite a bit. And then I do cross post to Posh and Macari. I don't get a lot of sales from them, but it's still a little bit every month. My biggest second platform, though, is my direct wholesale and Shopify. So basically, I just opened a Shopify store, and everything I get bulk inventory, whether I build boxes of clothes or boxes of remotes. We recently had makeup. I create a listing just like you would on eBay. I put it on Shopify, and then I send it out to my audience. And I'm like, hey, we built 20 boxes of makeup. Here's the link. Buy them until they say sold out.
Yeah, so you're basically selling to other resellers to sell it piecemeal. You're selling in liquidation format, like bulk.
Yep. And, yeah, a lot of people will ask why I do that and not just sell it myself. Well, I'm only one person. I get offered just from the nature of having a following and having, you know, exposure. People offer me stuff all the time. Like, I have 1,000 shirts. I have 500 pieces of makeup or this or that. I couldn't possibly keep all of it. So I keep what I can, and everything else, I can box up a couple hundred pieces in a box, get a few boxes ready and throw it up there. And you know, that takes an hour versus if I had to list all that stuff, it would take weeks. So then I can offer it out. I might pay $1 for it. I sell it to everyone for $2 or $3, and it's stuff that's worth $20, $30. And so I get to make a couple bucks, and everyone else can flip it, and then I don't have to turn it down. And so that's just basically what we've done. Going on 2 years now that I've been pretty much flipping wholesale. Yeah.
And you're also involved with the Wholesale site.
Yes. So after about 1.5 years of doing the Shopify and wholesale thing, I got approached by a lot of your audience might know Emma and Kat. They're the owners of Wholesale, the founders. They approached me and just kind of asked, like, how's it going? Is the reselling audience, you know, up to par on buying wholesale? Do they need inventory? Is there a need, a want? And I was like, yeah, I sell stuff every day. In the first 1.5 years, I did about $300,000 in wholesale orders. Now it's a much, much smaller profit margin, full transparency. You make pennies and percentages, but that shows you that there's a huge need for resellers to get inventory. And so we struck a deal and got a partnership, and they built a website and an app coming soon. And now we sell wholesale through that website.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get Emma onto the show here in the near future. We actually have a phone call set up tomorrow. We're going to talk.
Yeah. She mentioned talking to you. And then, of course, they'll be in Vegas in October for the remix. So yeah, it's a great site. Kat programmed it herself in a matter of a few weeks, a month. She's gotten, there's almost, when you build something new, there's always bugs. We have almost no bugs, very few reported. Every day they're adding lots. There's hundreds and hundreds of lots. So it's not because it's, you know, people are always weary of wholesale sites, like what's on there. This is just people who have too much inventory that need to
people like you and me. They get a lot of stuff. Yeah. You know, you can, what is there a minimum to
no minimums. We have lots that are $50. We have lots that are $5,000. We have lots for $500. There's lots of 10 items, lots of 10,000 items. So there's no minimum maximums. There's every budget. There's hard goods, clothing, electronics, makeup, jewelry. Lots of jewelry lots come through there. So anything anyone's looking for, if they want to expand, because expansion to me is definitely about platform, but it's also about looking at new material.
Yeah, for sure. Just real quick, I need to welcome Janice to the Niche Nation. Thanks for becoming a member. Boy, the chat's just flying over here.
Yeah, I just tried to scroll up and I said, "Uh-oh, this might be a mistake."
Yeah, it gets tough keeping up with this chat. These guys like to talk. If you guys have a question, if you can type question first in all caps, then my peripheral vision will kind of catch that.
I see one right off the top. It's from French-Middle for generating eBay sales. And they said they switched over to a store 5 days ago, tried promotions with the coupons, but only one sale. And they're saying that they sold more before they had a store than when they do have a store. Sometimes whenever you change the eBay algorithm, like you do a major change, it can take a few days to catch up, a week. Being that you just changed the store 5 days ago, maybe try store categories, get your stuff categorized. I think they said,
I was going to say the store isn't necessarily about boosting your sales. The store is about making it easier to market your brand.
Right. Yeah. That building the brand, customizing it. Yes, exactly that. So do the customizing, do the categories. I would say if you ran a promotion with coupons and it didn't really do much, run a promotion for an entire markdown sale rather than targeting with the coupon, because then anybody who finds your items, not just the people you sent the coupon to, will get, like, if you did 20%, I don't know what you did. But
and French-Middle, what do you sell? Because I will tell you, it depends on the category you're in. People who are looking for antiques, collectibles, vintage items are kind of sometimes put off by the whole coupon thing because they're like, why? What, why are you pushing? Like, I thought it was valuable and now you just want to discount the price. So there's different mindsets around different categories of stuff.
It's so weird to hear that, but it's true. Like, people immediately go to, like, what's wrong with it? Why? Yep. It's so weird. So
I always tell people, if something's not selling, try raising the price before you try lowering the price.
Yep. And some people will raise the price and give it a little while, and then if nothing, they'll just run a bigger sale.
And then run a sale. Because people, and you guys know, you go out shopping, what is that percentage that like sparks that little inner serotonin reflex? For me, 10-15% does not do it. I walk into a booth in an antique mall and they've got 40 or 50% off. I'm like, ooh, I'm shopping.
You're looking at every price and every item. You're spending time trying to figure out what might be a deal. Yeah. At 10%, everyone already knows that, I'm getting $2 off. I'm getting $3. Like, who cares, right?
So trying different strategies. So
Wholesale are great fellow Canadians. They are from Montreal. They are both from Montreal.
We have a lot of Canadian viewers.
We do. We have a lot of, I've been watching a few Canadian and Australian YouTubers that make YouTube content and things. So,
look, Kathy did this last week. Raised prices on 10 things and 4 of them sold. Yes.
Never know. I've done it so many times I can't even count. I used to do it on a weekly basis. I used to jack the price, like with the bulk editing percentages and stuff. I used to go like yo-yo the stuff back and forth. I swear it works. It's so weird.
I always tell people too, it's like, try not to chase the sale. If you focus on the core of your business of listing new items and doing regular sending offers to watchers and get in a rhythm, you're going to get in a rhythm of sales as well. And I think sometimes you're like, I have a bill, like the rent's coming due. Yep. I've got to make some sales. I got to run a sale, yep. And then you get into a different mindset about it. And then you're expecting something that is just not working in the algorithm of how this whole thing flows.
Yeah. Desperate people. And I mean, this is going to sound really bad, but a lot of the inventory I buy is when people get desperate and they just dump it all and they leave money on the table and they're just trying to, you can't wait around for that. So play with it, make the sales work, raise the price, do what you have to do, run the sales, but just something about changing what you're like, just making edits to eBay seems to trigger the algorithm so much. So
well, they like activity. Well, it's the same thing with YouTube. Like, you've got a YouTube channel and if you take a day off from posting something, what happens?
Yeah. So your views exponentially will drop. Like, YouTube won't even, you might get 5,000 views today on this video. And then you post another one 3 days later and it gets 500 views. YouTube
I think all of these weird algorithms somehow are working the same thing, where it's about that activity and consistency and engagement and all of that.
So do you want to hear my conspiracy theory on that? This is my 10-foil.
Absolutely.
So I believe that the reason that Poshmark has a share button is they made sure millions of people would keep clicking the website all day long. Not
Makes
so that you
sense.
can share your items and get it to the top to help you make sales, just so the platform would get constant activity.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah. I don't think that's conspiracy theory. I think that's logical.
That was the way they pushed their platform all the way through the strategy.
Kind of smart.
Yeah, the CEO probably was like, look, if everyone's clicking a button 3,000 times a day on our website, our Google algorithm is just going to go nuts. Mission accomplished.
But I mean, Poshmark came on the scene like full steam ahead. And I've seen Poshmark kind of now go like,
yep.
Well, they made tired of clicking.
Yeah, they made that original sale change to the algorithm, like the way that the search results were displayed, and it tanked. I remember this probably was the beginning of the year, or maybe during fourth quarter. I think people were complaining. Stuff just went bam, like crashed. And I think it was some of the competition where they started losing to Macari and to Whatnot coming along this year has definitely hurt them, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, Whatnot even, so anybody who wants to sell on Whatnot, one of the categories that is the toughest to get approval on is anything to do with clothing, because they are inundated with clothing sellers.
Not surprised.
Yeah. So
I figured it was going to be, you were going to say like either the collectible cards like Pokemon or Magic or sports cards or something.
That's like their core, and I don't think that's who's coming in right now. I think those sellers already knew about it.
Yeah.
They're already using it, and then they've gone to expansion from that. And so now it's the collectible, they're really, really pushing the estate and vintage other than clothing in hard. Like that's the category you're most likely to get approved on. Wink, wink.
Wink, yeah. How many people in the chat already are on Whatnot, or maybe sell that sort of stuff that would like to get on Whatnot, like are thinking about it, or maybe that you've already applied, just haven't been approved yet, like what the wait time has been recently? Maybe you guys can share it in the chat.
And we're waiting on the lag for them to hear that question, I don't want to skip Kathy's question here. When do you feel is the best reason on eBay to do an item at auction? I know my answer. I want to hear your answer on this.
I've always done buy it now items. Auctions for me. Okay. So I've had some rare clothing items that I know are legitimately like really good. Katie Zilverberg approved. And so she's like, just run that at an auction. Like definitely like, I don't set reserves, but I'll set the auction start price pretty well. And it's worked out. I've never really had one that went bad. I'm not an auction person. I just not for eBay. Now, if I was going to go auction, I'd go to Whatnot. But
Whatnot.
Yeah. But previously we used to sell some collectibles and stuff. And my answer to that was I'd always look up the solds and I'd see if most of them were selling auction or buy it now. If something had a ton of auction sales, then I would consider it. Otherwise, I went buy it now.
Yeah. So being I'm in the antiques, collectibles, glass, pottery categories, my thing for auctions is, does it have some kind of a damage where you just don't know how much that affected the market value? So for those things, like I'll start them, say at half of what market value would be if it was perfect, and just see what happens. Another thing is a loss leader, but this is a strategy. You don't want to just like, oh yeah, today I'm going to list a 99 cent. You want a strategy for this. And you want to use some kind of a loss leader that you're pretty certain is going to get some traction. Like let's say you sell, high-end Nike shoes. And historically, you can see that these things never sell for under a certain amount. You're pretty safe starting it at like a 99 cent loss leader, pull people into your store kind of a thing. But it's like, you need to think about the stuff, not just like, oh, I heard somebody on YouTube do this, I'm going to try this. Like you should know your strategy for your business and how that is going to work for you. And then the third thing is something super rare. It's just like, you got the only one. You only have to find a couple of people that really, really want it. But like you said, start it where you wouldn't regret selling it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, we just, again, before we came on live, we talked about that, especially with like people doing Whatnot and stuff, just selling items just to sell them. So you have the excitement of selling them, or because you're just throwing something at the wall, you need to have, like you said, a loss leader to bring people to the auction so that the other stuff gets bid up. Because you don't want to just run 50 items through an auction or on eBay auctions even and have everything sell for 99 cents or $1.99, and then you realize you didn't make any money. When you want to bring them in with a good item or a couple good items and then have everything get bid up so that, people are interested in everything else so that you can actually make some money. Because who cares if you sell 50 items if you don't make any money on them? Yeah, you can't just throw something all willy-nilly at the wall. Have a plan. If you're going to go that route, have a plan. And watch other people. You can look up sold auctions on eBay. You can watch other people's whatnots and see how they're doing and see what gets people interested. So always doing research. That's what I do. That's why I always listen to all you guys in the background and watch. And I hear something and I stop what I'm doing and I go click and watch. I'm like, what did she just say?
And I know, and I'm guilty of this. Like, we get stuck in our ways. Like, we get stuck in, you know what? I'm familiar with eBay. I know how to do eBay. I don't really want to have to learn some new channel or something, but it's just, if you want to grow, you have to. This is what you have to do now.
Yep. And there's so many platforms and so much competition and so many sellers and so much stuff. You either better have really unique items, which is great, what you guys go for, or you better be on multiple platforms or trying multiple strategies. And that's part of like what you're saying. Like when eBay's not working, if you have all your eggs in one basket and you're like, oh, I'm doing $5,000 a month on eBay, I'm perfect. And then all of a sudden you lose half of that income because eBay's down. You could have made that up across another platform or two, or whatnot could have done, even 400, 500 a week. There's your $2,000. So,
yeah. And I know there are some newer sellers struggling on whatnot. I don't want to come on here and tell you it's going to be super easy and you're going to sell $500 your first sale. You have to build your following. All of these selling channels now, we are in the age of you have to build a following. You don't have to have a YouTube channel specifically, but you have to do something to get yourself out there, whether it's Instagram's really good. Like Instagram's probably, I was resistant to Instagram and Jordan, my daughter, pushed me hard into Instagram. And now I'm like, that's like the easiest place to like just quickly post something and stay engaged with those that follow me. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And you, again, like you said, you don't have to have YouTube. Some people don't like to get on video or come in front of people, which is fine. If you have YouTube, perfect. Instagram is probably my second favorite one. I'll agree with you. I have, a Facebook business page you can build. You can build a Facebook group, join a Facebook group and network with people. There are groups that will not let you do that sort of thing, but there are groups that will let you network and build with each other and share things. So, Primetime. Hey, Dominic's in the channel. Primetime.
I was just going to say, he's got the biggest whatnot group over on Facebook.
Yeah. And, I got it. He said, I got him into IG back in the day. I was like on Instagram 9 years ago. It's crazy, but I never used it to its potential and I regret it now. I should have like 8 million followers. I don't, but it was just like, there's a way to connect with people quickly and just throw up a story and say, hey, don't forget about the whatnot auction. It rings true in someone's head. Or if they see your post and they just scroll through, they're like, oh yeah, an auction tonight for sneakers or whatever. So you have 4 or 5 options: Facebook pages and groups, Instagrams, YouTube if you want. Some people use Twitter. I see a lot of people still tweeting and retweeting different stuff. TikTok, obviously huge. TikTok, blew up, and I'm using it. I've got a few thousand followers. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, guys. I'm old. I'm not that young TikTok dancing person. All right. I'm not jumping all around my screen, but I'm working on it. But yeah, TikTok will get you blown up huge. Anybody can do a TikTok. So there's multiple options to build a following, and you don't need 1 million followers or 100,000, even, a couple thousand people after a few months or a few hundred to start with will get you an audience into whatnot. And then they can find you organically. And once you have some followers, other people will see that and they'll see 10 people watching your show, 15 people watching your show, and they'll come in. So the people, I saw 2 or 3 people in your chat asking, don't you have to have a huge following for whatnot? And I would say no. My friend just did a jewelry show on his thing, and he only has maybe 500, 600, 700 followers, and he had 20, 30 people in there bidding on stuff.
The thing about an auction, and this is so my tip for anybody who's doing whatnot, when you do a sale, like I have sold now in 3 different categories of stuff. I've done everything from jewelry to purses to Disney. But what I did was I themed the sale. And that, I think, is a big key on Whatnot. Is you want, when people stop by because they see who's live at that time, if you've got a caboodle of stuff that's like super interesting to them, and you can do that, like if you're vintage, pick a theme, like even just vintage collectibles. If there's enough of a certain type of item in there that's going to keep somebody there and attract their interest, you're going to build quicker. And doing the giveaways, I know I hear a lot of sellers like complaining, like, oh, we got to pay the shipping and blah, 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 and we're losing. Those giveaways are strategy to get people in to your sale. Like, I mean, people, I like it when somebody who's actually buying from me is one of the winners of my giveaways, but
yeah, I mean, people got to remember what's worked for hundreds of years on TV. When you hear, the Ford dealerships having a big Ford dealership, come on down and get free donuts and hot dogs and ice cream all day, and they're spending $500 on food for you, or come on down and spin the wheel and get a free Amazon gift card or whatever. It's advertising costs. You're giving away $10 to make $100 in sales because you're bringing people in who are going to bid. And it's how the world has ran for a million years. Like, you have to do something to stand out, to bring people in, because people have, the whole show we're talking about is people have a million options. Why should they go watch you? What is it about you? What do you have? What do you have to offer? What items do you have? What giveaways do you have? There's so many options. Just, you have to do something. It's called a hook. Some people call it clickbait. Some people call it bribery. Some people call it a lot worse. But it is. It's just advertising. And it's a tax write-off, by the way, just in case anyone
absolutely. Absolutely.
I've been watching, so Joanne is in the chat. I've been watching Whatnot almost exclusively, and I can find things much cheaper than YouTube sales. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people, again, we talked before we got on, running $1 sales, $2 sales. I don't know how I feel about that. I did that, and it was an up and down, but I made some decent money on that show, my first show. So it's all right, but I'm going to do it again.
Let's see.
Danny bribes us with bougie love. Barbie.
What do you think sells best on Whatnot, and your 3 best hacks, tips to selling success on Whatnot? So you guys know, like, I've only done 3 Whatnot sales. So
okay. I'm not far behind you. Okay.
I'm no complete expert on Whatnot, but the basics of the rest of what works in this reselling business can be applied to Whatnot. And it's like what I just told you. What's going to sell best is who you build the following for. If I went on Whatnot and tried to sell CDs, I would probably flop.
Yep.
My audience is not interested in CDs.
Nope.
I have learned what my audience, the people who follow me, want to buy. And that's not just on YouTube or Whatnot. It is in general, like when I was just doing eBay and I wasn't even on video. Like, you learn what sells through researching, testing, figuring out. Like, I probably couldn't sell a remote to save my life. But how much money do you make in remotes every year, Casey?
Yeah, and no, you're absolutely right. Like, I have an email list, believe it or not, and I have my normal email list of customers. I have an email list of remote control buyers. Like, when I get more pallets of remotes, I just send an email out and boom, 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 boom. If I tried to sell glass kittens right now, I'm not sure I could give one away. I'm 100% certain I could not give one away. So
unless I promoted it for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd have to give Danny her cup of coffee per sale, and then So yeah. So know your audience, know your product. You have to build around something. You don't see Starbucks trying to sell vodka lemonades. That's not their business. So,
and they don't sell junk food either.
No, not generally. Although the chocolate chip Frappo thingy is as close as you're going to get for it. But
those.
So that's it. Like, stick to one thing. If you're the sneaker guy, if you're, you could have multiple, maybe you're a shoe guy that sells all the different types of shoes, or you're a clothing person. But a lot of the clothing sellers that are successful, I'll give you one. I can't recall his name right off the top of my head, but he sells only men's polos and button downs, only men's shirts. And he does like $1 million a year. That's all he does. They have a system in place. He's now on Whatnot. The tie guy, I used to, and I still do sell a lot of ties. There's a guy on eBay with 24,000 listings of ties.
Wow.
The guy does like $3 million a year, legitimately sells ties like nobody's business. So,
it's a beautiful thing.
That's it. So just stick with that. Just do what you know and build, and your audience will build faster. They'll keep coming back because they're interested in that item. Otherwise, they're going to see one thing they don't like and they won't come back. So
Rockstar81 says, is there a trick to getting approved on Whatnot? It seems they only accept big YouTubers. I have had several people approved using my invite link because then they know it's somebody who's kind of watching, how I'm guiding you in. It's not just somebody out there going, oh, I found Whatnot, I want to sell. So if you use the link, I don't know if I have it in the description. I need to add it to the description. That would be really smart of me to do that.
They put it in the chat, but the best.
Melissa will put it in the chat over there.
Yeah,
just use that.
The best thing right now is definitely if you have a link, an invite link from somebody with a following like us, like Danny's, use it. 100% user link. At first, it wasn't so hard. You could get approved, but now they've had so many people, they've had to back down the approval. And you're right. At first, you could get approved without a big following, but now they want people to have a following.
Well, they've got a really fine line right now is because they want to grow, but they don't want to grow in a way that's going to cause people to talk badly about the experience of buying or selling on Whatnot. So I imagine in their little boardroom, they are doing some mad scrambling like, whoa, we didn't expect this.
Yeah, their growth has been so exponential. They got investment people putting money into them left and right.
Yeah.
They've hired, what I heard was in the last 30 to 60 days, they've hired 60 employees, which is bananas. So they've just grown at a level that's unbelievable. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit more work, but use the invite link. You should be okay. And like Danny just said, they're looking for people in the clothing category is, I guess, saturated. So they're looking for antiques, collectibles, glass and pottery, things like that. So if you sell that, you can definitely get an in there.
And try to find a time slot when nobody's on. I assure you, when I'm bored, and it's usually like early in the morning or late at night, because that's the only time I have to be bored, is I'm like, I'm going to go on. I don't feel like watching TV. I'm going to go on Whatnot and see what's going. And I can tell you that there are times where nobody is selling the stuff that I want to buy, which is antiques, collectibles, glass products. There's no sales to go to.
So there's some time slots available in case anybody's wondering. And she's on the West Coast. So those of us out on the East Coast, just stay up till 2 a.m. Danny will be watching you. It's
or my early morning is like your, beginning of the morning. So
my still in bed snoozing. Primetime asked the question just a little bit up, and he said, since we were talking about other platforms and ways of making money, how do we handle people that get upset that we make money outside of reselling, either through YouTube or affiliates? I'm sure he's talking about courses, products, or sign up links to sites like Whatnot. We can make some money off of that, things like that. And I'm actually interested in what Danny's going to say for this, because I know what my answer always has been since the end of time for this, but I want to hear what you have to say. How do you handle that when people aren't so thrilled about that?
I feel like the people who get upset with that are upset with their own business strategy and revenue streams, and they haven't figured it out. And it's really easy to project and go, that's not fair that they're making money off this, that, and the other. Right. Instead of saying, you know what, I need to learn how to do that, because I know you are, and I am very happy to teach anybody who wants to learn how to get all of these other income streams. Passive income is super important, because as a one person, there's only so much you can sell on a venue. There's only so much you can do. There's only so many lots, but you get passive income growing off of just having a link or just, a sign up bonus or whatever. Well, that's available to anybody who wants to build their business that way. So I feel bad when people get upset instead of going, hey, let me figure out how to do that. Just ask. We're happy to teach you.
Of course. And I actually have made it a point of teaching people for the last 1.5 or 2 years. So somebody said jealousy. I don't call it jealousy as much as I feel like that's such a negatively toned word to shoot back at someone, but to me it is. It's envious. Like it's envy. What you just said. Like they because there's no person that I've come across that's yelled at me for you get paid YouTube money or whatever. Well, that if I switched the roles and I gave it to them, they would turn it down. Like I can't imagine any of them would be like, oh, this is dumb. I don't want to make YouTube money just for making videos or affiliates or whatever. And I've actually taught a few of those people who have come at me like, I came at you hard. I wish I could do this. So I feel like
I think they feel like it's money that's being like they're being charged more for something because that money is being given to us. And I assure you, every single business out there puts money into marketing, and that money they're giving us is marketing because that's what we're doing for them.
Mm-hmm.
We're marketing.
Yeah. So Amazon affiliates, one that I got that was really surprising was that we were linking stuff and our prices would charge them more money. And I'm like, you're getting charged the same amount of money if you use an Amazon link or an eBay partner network link or whatever it might be. And we're just the company Amazon is giving up $1 or $2 to give us because we send them the sale. So it might be a $30 item. Amazon makes $20 profit. Well, we send them the sale. So they're like, okay, we'll give you $2 and we'll make 18 instead because you're just sending us traffic. It is. And we're right back to what we just talked about. It's advertising. It's advertising, marketing money. And they're willing to pay people who have an audience. All you have to do is build an audience. One of my favorite jokes of like all time is that people are always like, they always say Kim Kardashian gets paid for nothing, right? Like she has no talent, or like Paris Hilton or any of those people. And I said, no, it's not that. They literally could sell doggy poo in a bag because they have an audience. If they put a bag of that up, they'd sell 1 million of it. Literally just an audience. As soon as you get an audience, and of course, the more niched you are, the easier it is. I sell thermal labels because what are we in? The shipping business, right? So I sell thermal printers and labels nonstop, affiliates, because people need them all the time. And if you have an audience, you can sell it. And there's no reason. And a lot of people, I saw somebody in your chat just say, I don't want to get in front of a camera.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. You can do voiceovers. You can do screen shares. There's people that only do screen share YouTube channels. Plenty successful. I never thought, could you think back? Could you ever imagine being in front of a camera like 5 years ago, like nonstop? 10 years ago? Could you ever think like, oh my God, I'm going to be in front of a YouTube channel full of thousands of people?
Well, no, I never thought my channel would grow. I was gonna say, I've been in front of the camera for like a long time.
No, I never would have dreamed of like being on a camera. Like thinking back to like 21, 23, 25-year-old me. No way. I didn't start YouTube till I was like almost 30.
Yeah, well, you're still a youngster.
I appreciate it. Not as young as I wish I was, but yeah. So you don't have to be in front of a camera. You can build an audience. There's people on Instagram that have a huge audience that you don't even know what they look like. They have like one little 1/8 of an inch profile picture. So just anywhere you want to build a camera and or build an audience, you can without the camera. People asked about Whatnot. I watch a guy that does video games. I've never seen his face. He holds the video game up like this, and he's off, to the side, and all you see is his hands, one game after another after another. And I'm like, no one knows what he looks like. Like, who cares, right? And nobody's there to care what you look like. They just want to see what you have and buy stuff.
Exactly. I know, and Kathy saw me flash this on the screen, and then we went on to another question. So I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you, Kathy. So she asked me, was I happy with the money that, am I happy with the money that I'm getting on Whatnot? Absolutely. Because literally it takes me 30 minutes to build my little catalog. And then I'm on for an hour to hour and a half. And I'm selling, I think the least I've ever sold is $500 worth. So
what number of items did you do for the first 3 shows?
I usually do somewhere like 25 to 30 items.
Okay. And so you have like a $20, $30 plus average ticket price. Yeah. So I've only done one. I'm getting ready to do my second show. And I purposely started with low dollar items because I just wanted to kind of see how it would go and just test the waters. I sold hats. I did a 45 sale hat thing, like just snapbacks and different things. And I didn't pull out any of the high dollar ones. I sold some for $20. I sold some for $15, sold a bunch for $2, $3. The average sale price ended up being a little over $5, which it is what it is. Like I paid $1.50 to $2 for the hat. So I was fine with it. Again, I was just experimenting. After fees and everything, I think I was at like $4 in pocket. So I profited between $1.50 to $2.50 per hat. And again, it was just a test. The wholesale at 45, I did like $237 or $240. And I made a profit of like 140 or 150. And yeah, I set up the hats in probably 30 minutes. And I did an hour, not even an hour for the show, like 55 minutes for the show. So an hour and a half, I was able to make, $160, $150, whatever it was. So you're talking about $80 an hour, but I was only testing. When I actually go in there and do it, I expect I'll do $400 or $500, $600. So, yeah, I mean, you can set up a sale, and we talked about it right before we came on. People set up stuff and they just sit around and wait for it on eBay. Yeah, that stuff might be $300 in profit, but it takes all month to sell, rather than, okay, I'm going to do this every week and I'm going to sell 600 in profit, 150 a week, rather than 300 waiting for it to sell on eBay. So it's turnover time, it's volume, it's moving stuff. And if you have unique antique stuff, you may still get those prices. You may have to take a little bit lower for the flip time, for the turnover time. But there's some stuff. One of my hats sold for $28. I'm pretty sure it was worth $15 on eBay. So
yeah. So I mean, and once you have a following too, and like, here's the thing about followings, guys. How long did it take you to get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube?
4 years.
4 years, guys. It isn't overnight. It is not an overnight thing.
No.
I have that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. On my YouTube channel, I actually have in the about section the dates that I hit, like 10,000, 25, 50, and 100,000 subscribers. Yeah. And it took like 9 months to get to 1,000. And then it took like a year and a half to get to 5,000, and then 2 years to get to like, 25,000. So you can actually, I did it for myself. Like, here's the dates. So, I had 100 subs on October the 10th of 2015. 7 months later, I had 1,000. And then 5 months later, I had 10,000. So it took me 7 months to get 1,000, but it only took 5 months to get, somehow there was like a boost. But then it took a year and 2 months to get to 25, another year to get to 50,000, and then another year and a half, almost 2 years to get to 100. So yeah, 4+ years to get to 100,000 subs. And that was really pushing it and grinding it. And I got in kind of at the right time when, reselling was starting to get bigger. So.
Yeah. 2020 was a big year too.
Yeah. 2020 really, yeah. When people were at home watching stuff because they were stuck on the couch all day.
Exactly. That helped a lot.
Yes, it did. I love that song, Danny. It's not an overnight thing.
Yeah. Well, what do they talk about? Yeah, my overnight success only took like 12 years, kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. My YouTube channel is now 5.5, 6 years old from when I first posted. So, and I'm at 120. And it's been slow once I hit 100. I didn't focus on it as much because I was doing wholesale and really expanding the sales side of the business. There's some people that love, the YouTube world, and they make a big, huge chunk of their income on it. And I make good money on YouTube, but I never wanted it to be a huge, like, I didn't want it to be 80% or 90%. I'm okay with it being 20% or 30%. I'd
like to diversify. I mean, it's scary when you have all of your income coming from just one main source. And that's really what we're talking about today is like, a lot of people are like, I'm just eBay. Well, if eBay's not providing you the income you want, you've got to look at, okay, so let's start adding on. I mean, and now you have things like List Perfectly that makes it so incredibly easy to manage that same inventory across all these different channels where there are different shoppers. Like Etsy shoppers don't tend to be eBay shoppers, and eBay shoppers don't tend to be Etsy shoppers. It's two demographics of buyers that, why not utilize that?
Yep. There's some people that have never heard of Posh or never heard of Macari or never this and that. So you'll only find them on one or the other. And
have you heard about Chairish?
Speaking of the List Perfectly, I just did a 14,000 piece purchase, and we already have it all copied into the List Perfectly catalog. And I'm doing like 300-400 a day getting it listed. And once it's all up and active out of the LP catalog, I'll be able to put it over to any of the platforms as quickly as possible. And I will. I'm going to take a bunch to Posh, a bunch to Macari, just so I can get those extra sales. Even if it's $1,000 extra a month, I'll take it. Like, perfect. Like, List Perfectly pays for itself. So easy. When is everyone gonna, inquiring minds want to know when they're all going to be invited to swim in the lagoon? Oh, it is an open invite. You guys can get, the lagoon is open to the public for anybody who doesn't know, I live in a neighborhood that actually has a man-made lagoon in it. It's like a giant water park dropped right in my backyard. It has kayak rentals and obstacle courses and slides,
And
swim
alligators?
bars, the whole thing. So it's open to the public. If you look up the first crystal lagoon in the United States, it is that. So you guys can go anytime you want. You don't need me. But if you do go, feel free to reach out to me and tell me you're there. And if I can take a minute and scoot over there, I'll absolutely come over and have a drink with you. Mango strawberry margaritas are my thing, just in case you're wondering. Danny's invited. She just doesn't leave Vegas. I mean, except for
I just got back.
I know. She doesn't come to Florida. No one comes to Florida. She asked me before the show if we have scorpions in Florida. I told her we have lizards, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm okay with those. Like, screw the scorpions. I want the lizards."
Yeah, the scorpion thing is.
I couldn't do it. I don't know if I could live with scorpions. I think Katie and Vicky told me once they had a scorpion in their old place, and I like freaked out. I was like, "No way, no."
I don't know what my options are at this point. I mean, I literally just moved in and found this problem, but it's like poor Noah is.
Yeah.
You know, Noah's been like our brave one going out and doing the black light at night, and he's like not sleeping well. He's like totally freaked out by
so
him.
they do treatments, obviously. They'll come around and treat everything and try to get rid of them.
Had it done, but it's bad.
Yikes.
It's really, really bad.
Yikes. So somebody said we have snakes and gators. We do. I mean, snakes are anywhere generally. You guys have rattlesnakes and stuff out there. The gators are a thing that people are scared of, but they don't mess with you. They're more scared of us than we are of them. We have gators in my back pond, and you'll see them. I came out and took the dog in the backyard one time. It's fenced in. And I think I startled the gator, and he dove in the water and just took off, like freaked out. So, and it's in, somebody asked, in Tampa. I'm just north of Tampa. If you look up something called Wesley Chapel, Florida, or Epperson Crystal Lagoon. I'll spell it in the chat. Epperson Crystal Lagoon. It's completely open to the public, and you can go in there 7 days a week. They're open, so knock yourself.
I do want to get back to. I was in Florida last. Was it last year? It was last year.
Did you?
We karaoke together.
Oh yes, you were at Saddlebrook and
went
to the Whiskies. Yes. So I actually, that's a great story. In fact, I don't know if anyone knows Ashlyn Haddon. She does insurance for resellers. She messaged me that so there's a neighborhood near my neighborhood that's a golf course called Saddlebrook. You guys were at an Amazon talk by Jim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jim, yeah. And so she texted me and said, "Hey, what part of Florida do you live in?" Because she had forgot. And she's like, "We're at this place called Saddlebrook." I'm like, "No, you're across the street from my neighborhood, literally across the street." And so she actually came with Anastasia and a couple other people. They came over to Lagoon and hung out for a few hours. We got rained out, but they did have a few drinks. And then she goes, "You'll never guess we're going to karaoke at Joe Whiskey's later." I'm like, "Yeah, it's right there in the corner." She's like, "You should come. You should come." And I almost didn't come. And then I finally did come, and I had no idea that Danny was there. I didn't know who all had come. I just knew that Anastasia and Ashlyn were there. And so I walked in, and they're sitting Danny front and center. I'm like, "Hey, like everybody's here." So yeah, it's a good time. You guys should come down.
I'll get back there. I'll get back there.
Yeah, get back here. You can come to
I want to get an RV though, because I really hate flying.
Yeah.
So I'm not a
fan of flying. I like the idea of flying. I like the not driving. I like the getting on a plane and traveling. I don't actually like flying though. No, I don't think anyone actually likes flying. It's scary. It's annoying. The whole process is getting bags, and I like the idea of it. I just don't like the physical work.
Yeah, and they don't even serve drinks on the plane anymore. Well, here's what's interesting. Our flight out, they didn't serve the alcoholic beverages that are always my, like, I can land with a little liquid courage in me kind of thing. But the flight home in the morning, they were. Like,
what?
I know. How does that make sense?
I want to go back to bed, not drink vodka. I'm not a morning. I hate people that are like, "Oh, if I have a hangover, first thing in the morning, I'm going to get mimosas and Bloody Marys." Oh, I can't do that. I cannot do it.
No.
What a great story. Yeah. Is St. Pete Beach safe to swim in? Yeah. There's no gators in our oceans or our main areas. They're just in ponds and lakes. Never come to Florida and get in a random body of water. Like, that's just the piece of advice. I remember Danny's first flight for a reseller event alone. Joni, where did you go?
Where was I think it was up to,
Was it eBay Open?
It
17,
had to be an
16?
eBay event. It was
No,
probably.
you wouldn't have flown to eBay Open because it was in Vegas.
Well, no, I didn't live in Vegas. I
Oh, you
lived
didn't live
in
there at
Arizona,
17.
so I
That's
was
right.
probably flying up here to
To Vegas.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably.
All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. Please share your views on Chairish. How do you compensate for different prices on different platforms? No, I couldn't tell you're newish until you told me that, Susanna.
I have never heard of Chairish. My problem with that, and sometimes this comes off badly, but if I haven't heard of the platform or majority of people haven't heard of it, which I haven't seen it in one of my Facebook groups, but once maybe, it's probably not got that big of a following or an audience. Maybe it does. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Well, it's curated home decor, which some antiques and collectibles fall into. It's very, very high end. Their main buyers are interior decorators. So it's a bougie site. I've done quite well on Chairish, but you've got to really know what you're putting over there. And then as far as the difference in price, I just know that Chairish is a different clientele. They don't want something that they know is underpriced. They are buying for high-end clients. So they want to be able to brag to that client that, hey, I got you the $1,000 Murano glass vase, for this particular spot in your home. Whereas on eBay, you've got the person goes, I really want that $1,000 vase, but man, I just can't see paying more than $500 for it.
Yeah, right.
But I do quite well, but you got to know what to list there.
Okay.
And
so it's very, very specific.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, and it makes sense that I've never heard of it. I just don't sell those items. But if it has a niched audience and you have those items, boom. I mean, jump on it. Otherwise, like Danny said, if you don't have the right items, it may not work for them. They may not want it. But yeah, there's another platform, Diversifying. People with that I've never even heard of it. There's a whole audience for it. So find where you can sell your stuff. Find what works for you. Shopify may not work for you. It works for me. I sell a boatload. I'm going to do 150,000 on Shopify this year. So, find what works for you. That's always my thing. Cause there's 100 platforms to sell on.
Hello, Fatbird Finds. Wants to know how YouTube memberships are going for us.
Steady. I don't really get the big pushes that a lot of people get anymore. On a given day, I might get 50, 60, up to 100 on good days. So, a couple thousand new subscribers a month is generally a norm for me.
Subscribers or members?
Oh, those are subscribers. I don't have one of the you have one of the.
Oh, I thought you did have a YouTube membership.
No, I don't have the subscription memberships. I have, actually, I sell like a bundle of stuff and I have a private Facebook group that we join. I probably get maybe like 50 to 75 a month, maybe 100 on good months. New members for those. I don't know. How's it going for you on here?
My whole motive behind doing the memberships was like what we talked about earlier with the weird YouTube algorithm. So there are certain videos that I want to put out for people, but I can't put them out as a regular video because they just tank my entire week because they just don't get enough views. So my answer to that was to create a space where I could put those teaching videos and the stuff that I have a certain segment of my subscribers that they want to see that stuff and just do a small amount so that it covers what I lose by not having it as a regular video and still kind of compensate for the work involved.
Yeah.
So I like it to stay small and manageable. I think I have like 200 or 300 members right now.
That's pretty good. I mean, how long have you had it on?
Oh gosh, we're only in our second month.
Oh, so that's really good. Yeah. So my private group and everything's been around for all of last year. So a year, almost going on 2 years. And I think I have like 900 or getting close to 1,000 in that group. So that are paying. So, I mean, that's 2 years worth. You've already hit 20% of that in 2 months. So yeah, you'll do just fine.
Speaking of, welcome Vicky and welcome Carol.
Welcome in, ladies.
Yeah, I have an upper level so I used to do a lot of coaching and teaching, like very, one-on-one directed. And I will tell you that the management of the infrastructure of all that, number one, was super expensive. And number two was very, very time consuming to keep up on all that. So YouTube memberships have actually given me the ability to kind of just expand on what I'm already doing. And they manage that whole financial end, the whole notification end, all of that stuff that is required. So that's what was like appealing to me too, is like not just starting up a whole separate thing.
Yeah. No, being able to have it organized and taken care of and everyone tended to is super important. If people are going to support you and people are going to financially help, what we're doing and building, you got to make sure that everyone is watched over, everyone has answers, everyone is organized. Yeah, that's real important.
Yeah, because I feel I get, you ask anybody around here, I get like really uptight when I know, like, look, I got to put out content. These people are paying for content. I got to get my preview for the live sale. I got to do like,
yeah, I can't imagine like the Patreon, people that did Patreon for so long, which I imagine is why YouTube really pushed for the subscriber thing, because people were going to Patreon like left and right, and not YouTube wasn't making money on it. But the Patreon stuff, people were having to put out content. Like you have to put out content. Mm-hmm. If somebody's paying you, you have to give them what they're paying for. You have to
absolutely
help. Yep.
1000%.
Hey, Donatella's here. I didn't see her come in. I just saw.
Okay, so we got a couple minutes left, you guys. Throw in your doozy questions. Here's your chance.
Yeah, last minute.
We've got two completely different aspects of reselling.
Way different, yeah. I don't know if I did, but I don't have a niche. Like I'm not the niche guy. I can't be the niche man. I sell everything. Wholesale. I sold boxes of makeup. I sell remotes are my big thing. Like I just happen to have
I kind of know you for the remotes.
Yeah, I have a huge amount of sources for bulk electronic remotes. They're DVD, TV, CD player, Bose surround sound systems. Garage door remotes are pretty popular. They do really well too. A lot of garage door remotes, like $40, $50 average sale prices on some.
Wow.
So I just sell all amounts of remotes. In fact, I have a whole pile sitting here. Like literally, like if you can name it, the DVD combo remotes. That's a big surround sound system remote from Yamaha. So some of them are worth $20, $18. Some of them are worth $50. So
I got to tell you, when I moved into this house, I opened one of the drawers in the kitchen and there was 5 remotes in there, just like that handful you just showed right there. And you were the first person I thought about. I was like, oh, I wonder what these are worth.
Yeah,
what you could get for this remote.
It's just something that you never think of, and it's so funny because some of them are worth big money. Somebody just mentioned buttermilk and cream fan remotes. I do sell a lot of the fan remotes with the light switches. I get $20-$25 for quite a few of them.
What's your handle on Shopify?
Shopify is liquidation. Here, I'll type in the chat. It's liquidation lots for less. So liquidation lots for the number 4 with less. The only thing I have on Shopify right now is remotes. Like that's just my remote thing. The best place to get all of the lots that I have come in is Wholesale now. You can put a link up there if you have an affiliate or whatever. But if you just go to Wholesale, you can just Google Wholesale, HAULSALE. I think there's like 600 lots on there right now. So how do you reach me? The best way, if you just search any social media platform for Rockstar Flipper, that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. They all come up there, and YouTube. So any one of the 5, if you just type in Rockstar Flipper, you'll find me. And my email is exactly that, rockstarflipper@gmail.com.
And that's a really good lesson too, you guys, is again, it goes back to, if you really want to grow this business, you're growing a brand, and your brand is your umbrella over all of these different places that you are and where you sell. So keep it consistent. Don't try to have some cute name over on this site and some cute name over on this site. Like, be consistent and cohesive, because Google really loves that.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Every time like your name comes up, and it's that same name, people can find you.
Yeah, and shame on me, because everything I have is Rockstar Flipper. My email, all my platforms. My eBay store is not Rockstar Flipper, which is shocker. I really should. I'm sure I should, but it's Treasure Chest FL for Florida. I keep wanting to change it to Rockstar Flipper. Don't ask me why I haven't. The answer is I'm an idiot, and I probably
mine is utterly good stuff, because I had my eBay store long before I became the niche lady. So
right. Yes, and me as well. Yeah. So
I've toyed with, like, do I rock that boat, or do I?
I don't know. I don't know if me too. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I just always have Oh, I've always had this name. Like Treasure Chest Florida has been on eBay for like, it had a different name way back when, but this has been 8-10 years. It's been that name. So I'm like, God, do I change it or not? Like,
I know the struggle.
yeah,
is
if you
real.
can't get the same name everywhere, you can add an underscore, you can add an asterisk, you can add a dot, like Rockstar dot flipper or something. Please don't steal my name. Enough people already do. God, we get it every day.
Trademark it.
Yeah, I have it trademarked in Florida. I own everything for it for Florida. I own the DBA, the LLC, the incorporation. I own the whole thing in Florida, but nationwide, it's not a no-go. They won't let me because they're like, Rockstar's too general and you're a flip-flop. It's a complete, for like 50 grand, I probably could, but I'm not
Wow.
do it. Yeah. So,
wow.
But yeah, if you can't get the same name across all the platforms, there's dots, there's underscores, there's dashes, there's hyphens, there's asterisks. You play around with it a little bit, but try to get it as close as possible.
Yeah, they're saying you can change your eBay name once every 30 days and you don't lose your followers. Yeah.
Right.
You don't lose your followers, but you can lose your Google mojo.
Yeah, it can mess it up because what's popping up if somebody's looking for that, and then if they're searching for something else, it gets brain scrambled. It doesn't.
Yeah. Well, that hour went really, really fast.
It did. And I hope that what people take out of this is that expand your thing. If what you're doing is not working or not working as well as you want, and you're tunnel visioned, I call it the tunnel vision all the time. Look outside of it to other things. We're not saying you have to do YouTube. We're not saying you have to do Whatnot or all of them, but find something else that's going to work and help you get to where you need to be.
Absolutely. And don't let like the fear and the anxiety and it's something like I just talked about this and like, well, you won't see the video. I shot it today, but you won't see it for a few days. But talk about how sometimes we have to do things that are scary or uncomfortable or feel different to get to that thing that we want. And in this case, it was like, I couldn't get home if I didn't go do the scary thing. Really?
He's out too.
He said he knows time's up. So yeah, so you guys don't let those things stop you. Like there's plenty of us out there willing to help you. Yep. Go join Casey's group, go join my group, follow the channel, follow the videos, and just this community is amazing. Like I'm watching people answer questions over in this chat this entire hour.
Absolutely.
So there's no excuses. If you want it, it's there for you.
Go get it.
All right, everybody. We're signing off this time. Come see me at 3 p.m. Pacific time. I will be on Whatnot. I think Melissa has, she just put the link over there. You can click that link, come over and watch. I'm doing a jewelry sale today. We're doing jewelry.
Nice. I'm going to pop in and see how it goes.
Awesome. Hope to see you there.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right, everyone. With that, go be profitable. I've got a bird flying across the floor. And make it fun. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, got to do my own music so bad.